Hey John, got your next video here. It's called Man Killers. As you see that guy right there on the picture, he's going to jail because he's done some of these things that kill men. So if you want to be successful, you got to understand the things that are threats or dangers to you. And I'm going to talk to you about the top 3 things that destroy some of the most successful, rich, famous, and powerful men. Hopefully by knowing these things, that they're dangers, it can help you to avoid the fate of these men. Take a look at this next one. Danger. Because I want you to remember that these 3 things I'm going to talk about are dangers. And some men don't realize they're dangers, but I want to make sure you understand that they're dangers. They are dangers. Dangers. They destroy men. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to avoid all of these dangers, except the last one. And of course, many powerful men think that they have these things, these man killers under control, but they've killed their success, their wealth, their popularity, their career, their reputation, and sometimes they even took their freedom. In the end, they ended up with nothing because they tried to enjoy these things, and the law caught up with them when thought they were so cocky to think that they were too smart for the law. Heed my warning, John. Don't let these man killers destroy you. Let's take a look at what they are. Again, these man killers have destroyed some of the most rich, the most famous, and the most powerful men in the world. Not these particular men, but these are examples of the kind of people that these man killers can kill. Here are the 3 things that are man killers. Number 1 is women or sex. There's so many men that have lost everything because they did the wrong thing with women or having sex. Drugs is the second man killer. There are so many people that had success, power, money, and fame, and because they used drugs, they destroyed it all, and they lost everything. Don't let drugs kill you and take away everything you have. They got so many treatment centers right now with people that had so much, and now they have nothing. And the third one is the love of money or greed. John, don't let greed destroy you in your life. Okay? So, this is how failure to respect these things can lead to. If you do those 3 things the wrong way, you can lose your fame and fortune. You can lose your job and career. You can lose your popularity and reputation. Doing those 3 things the wrong way can make you even lose your freedom, John. And I know you don't want that. Here's some examples how sex can kill. See that guy right there? His name is Mike Tyson. He used to be one of my favorite boxers. But he did some things with sex with a girl in a hotel, and he ended up going to jail for 3 years, losing so much money and fame and power that it was ridiculous. Same thing with this guy. His name is Kobe Bryant. He's a basketball player. He did something with a girl in a hotel, and he lost millions and millions of dollars in endorsements from companies that were, because his image was changed now. He wasn't seen as a good guy. This guy's name is Chris Brown. He's a singer. He hit his girlfriend once. So because of hitting her, lots of people didn't like him. He lost lots of money and popularity and all kinds of bad things happened to him. He even had to get in trouble with the law. And finally, this guy, I know you recognize him. That's Cosby from The Cosby Show, one of my favorite TV shows. He touched some women the ways he shouldn't touch them and got them drunk and gave them drugs and stuff. And so now they're looking at, they convicted him. It looks like he's going to be going to jail for maybe the rest of his life. So all of these men were rich, famous, and powerful, and the way they did wrong things with sex messed up their whole life and their career. And I don't want that to happen to you, so I want to warn you about how to avoid doing the kind of things that these guys did. So here are the things that you need to avoid to make sure none of this stuff happens to you. Number one is assume that a girl or woman is any less than you are anyway. Don't assume that they're less than you. Okay? 2, don't kiss and tell. You know what kiss and tell means? Kiss and tell means if you have a girlfriend and you kiss her or you do things with her, don't go around bragging and telling your buddies what y'all did. What you do is between you and her. Don't kiss and tell. Don't brag about what you did. That's one of the quickest ways to lose a girlfriend, because girls don't like it when you tell their business out in the street. Okay? Don't do that. Number 3 is touching without permission. Okay? Just last weekend, I was doing some stuff with work, and this guy touched a girl on the butt. And she got real mad, and she called the police, and he got in big trouble because he touched her without permission. Okay? Don't touch. Saying inappropriate things to a girl and a woman. This same guy that touched a girl without permission last weekend, he started saying these rude, nasty remarks to her, talking about sex and all this stuff to her, and that was offensive to her. So saying inappropriate things to girls can get you in big trouble. Touching another woman that's not yours when you already have a girlfriend or a wife. See, when you do that, that's called adultery. That's what God calls it, adultery. If you have a wife and you messing with another woman, that's against God's law and that's wrong. Okay? Or same thing if you have a girlfriend. Even if you're not married, you have a girlfriend, don't mess with any other girls. Leave them, just stick with one girl at a time. Okay? Number 6, touching a girl or woman who has a boyfriend. If a girl already has a boyfriend, don't mess with her. Leave her alone. She already has somebody. You wait and find somebody who's single. Okay? Don't mess with a girl or woman who's married. Leave those women alone. And other examples. Paying to have sex with a woman. Now, I know that doesn't make sense to you now, but there are some men who pay women to have sex. Those women are called prostitutes. And that's illegal to get with a prostitute. So leave women alone that you got to pay for. Well, you don't need to pay for them anyway. Get you a woman that you know who loves you. Okay? Don't pay for it. Looking at pornography. There's some people who can tell you, oh, there's some websites you can go look at naked women. Don't do it. Everything that you do online, they can track it back to you and to me, and I can get in big trouble. And you can even go to jail. They have naked magazines or even girls in person who dress naked. I mean, who want to show you that self naked. Stay away from that stuff. You can get in big trouble for that stuff. Touching a girl who is drunk. I know this don't make sense to you now, but when you get older, you're gonna be somewhere where people gonna be drinking. And if a girl has been drinking and she's drunk, and you touch her or do stuff with her, it doesn't count because she was drunk, so she didn't know what she was doing. So you can get in trouble for touching her or doing stuff with her. That's called rape. Okay, because she didn't give consent. So leave women alone who are drunk. When a girl says no, it means no. Don't assume that she's just joking. If she says no, stop, then you know stop. Okay? Number 11, never touch a child inappropriately. Now, I know you've learned because they told you about not letting people touch you inappropriately. Don't you touch a child inappropriately. That's a big, big no-no also. Okay? That's called being a pedophile. And you don't want to do that, because if you get in trouble for pedophile, the rest of your life, everywhere you go, you got to tell the police where you are and what you're doing so they can make sure you're not messing with children. So never touch a child inappropriately. And 12, if you're 18 years old or older, you can't touch a girl who's younger than 18, because then now she's a child and you're an adult. So you can't do that. Okay? So here, these are some big things that are man killers, because men have done all of these things I just talked about, and they've got in trouble and lost their freedom and went to jail. So remember all these things you can't do. The next one is drugs, John. I know you know about drugs. I know that you know using drugs is bad and wrong. And I'm not going to insult your intelligence, but I want you to know the details about how drugs are man killers for other people. These are some pictures of some famous people. This lady here, she's a singer, and she used drugs, and she ended up looking like this. And this is one of my favorite singers. Her name is Whitney Houston, and she used drugs, and it made her look all old and raggedy and horrible. And drugs will do that to you. It doesn't do it to you that same day, but it does catch up with you. Okay? You see, everyone who knows that drugs are bad, even the people who use drugs, even smart people sometimes get addicted. Let me tell you how this kind of works. See, when people hear good things about drugs, like marijuana, they think that it's cool and fun and harmless. And then they try it because their friends tell them that it's a lie, that it's harmless because they know they use it for a long time and nothing bad happened to them. So they convince you that it's lots of fun, and if you want to be cool, you'll have to do it too. So you try drugs, and it seems like it's fun for a while, and it doesn't seem like it causes any problems. And just like your friend said. But then what happens, though, is it slowly hurts you, and you don't see it. All of these people thought that it couldn't hurt them. She used it, and she ended up looking like that. He used it, he looked like that. It destroys your life, John. Okay? And I'm going to talk to you about some ways that how it destroys your life. Okay? Well, one thing it does, again, it seems like it's fun at first, but it really turns you into a slave. You end up having to do it every day. You end up losing everything. See this guy homeless? He said, I need money for weed, drugs, and alcohol. He think it's funny. But living out on the street homeless like that with not even shoes to wear is not funny. Living like this in the corner, see how he was using drugs? He has nowhere to sleep. He has nothing. That's what eventually happens to you. You lose your memory. School starts getting harder and your grades start to drop. You start doing illegal things. You start having problems on your job, problems with family, homeless like this guy. People use drugs. The way they do it, the reason they use drugs is to change the way they feel. But John, you don't need drugs to change the way you feel. Because you know how to change the way you feel in a natural and healthy way. You know that there are things like this you can do to have fun. Things like that. Things like that, and that. You know healthy ways. So you don't even have a purpose for drugs. Make sure you let people know who offer to you that you don't want any of that poison. Because nothing that good ever comes from people who use drugs. People who use drugs are wimps. They're not really cool like they try to tell you they are. They're not really brave enough to deal with their feelings. They use the drugs to fix their feelings. But real men fix their feelings without using drugs. So don't be a wimp. Okay? After using drugs for a while, they realize it's not fun anymore. And some people quit when it's not fun anymore. But some people still want to have drugs that are fun. So they take more and more, and they need to take more and more just to have the same feelings. But when the more and more they take, the more and more problems they have. And it never really gets back. Now luck starts to get worse and worse. And the truth is that the problems are not related to using drugs. They become more and more of a loser. Instead of quitting, they switch to a different drug, thinking that it's going to make them feel even better without problems. The problems that they think is drugs away are what causes the problems. It's the drugs. So if you want a life of problems, then use drugs, John. But in my opinion, life already is difficult enough. And I don't want to add any kind of extra problems to my life. I don't know about you. The bottom line is that people who use drugs to change the way they feel. And some people don't want to feel left out because everyone else is doing it. That's called peer pressure. But John, never let peer pressure force you to do something stupid like using drugs. And you already know that in Underwoods, we're not followers anyway. We don't need to follow a fool. We know the right thing to do. If your friend tries to talk you into using drugs, then he never was your friend in the first place. Leave him alone. Tell him that you can't use drugs, that you're allergic to it. Don't stay around people while they're using drugs. Because they have this saying, if you at the barber shop long enough, you can get a haircut. If you hang around people that are using drugs long enough, eventually you're going to try it. And once you try it, you never know if you'll ever stop. Remember, it's illegal. So when the cops come around to arrest them, they're going to arrest you too. Just for being with them, because it seems like you're doing it. If you're around them a lot, one day, you're going to try it. Now, I'm going to test you. You're going to live in our house, and I'm going to give you drug tests. And if I catch you using drugs, I guarantee you that I will take you to jail myself. Because I don't play with that. Because if you use drugs in my house, then you're jeopardizing the whole family. And you're making us in trouble too. I said that people use drugs to change the way they feel. So some use it when they're bored or lonely or sad or happy or even mad. And it's natural to have all these feelings, but don't be a wimp and use drugs to feel different. When you're bored, find something productive to do, like read a book or help someone. When you're lonely, call someone and talk. When you're sad, call someone. Eat a Suzy Q or Slurpee. Listen to happy music. When you're happy, don't need to try to do anything to make you even happier with drugs. Enjoy the happiness that you already have with someone. Don't cover your feelings with a drug. Drug feelings are fake. People get addicted to drugs when they use them so much that their body gets so used to having it that when they no longer have it in their body anymore, the body craves it. And people do all types of crazy things to get it. They steal from their family, they'll rob you, they'll kill you. And once you get addicted, it's almost like a miracle to stop. The only way to get addicted is to take that first taste of a puff of the drug. If you never try it, it's impossible to get addicted. Remember that. You would never be addicted if you never tried. That's why I've never tried it. Because I'm scared I might like it and I might get addicted. John never tried drugs.